One time somebody told me, Rachel, if you ever got a tattoo, you'd probably get a tattoo of a mitochondria. And I was like, you're probably right. I probably would. I'd probably get it right here on my wrist or something of a little mitochondria. I'm looking down, I'm staring at this little picture because I look at this picture all the time. And when I'm not looking at it, I think about it often. I just fell in love with like biology and the cell, and it's so gorgeous, this little orchestra of little happenings. It's like there's trillions of these little cells working in our body all the time, like communicating with each other. And I just think it's so beautiful. Like this cell is in your heart, it's in your kidneys, it's in your brain, it's in your skin cells, you know? And and then all the time I get obsessed with things like fasting and diet and weight training as well. So I'm constantly like, there's always something in life, like even somebody, you know, going and opening the door, like that extra energy, it just makes me think of like a cell and like what our bodies are capable of. And it's beautiful because like this cell holds a voltage. It holds a voltage of energy. A lot of people don't really like, or like sometimes I'll just be talking about like energy in the body, and people think it's like woo woo. When you start talking about energy, they think because you're talking about energy, it's woo woo. But that's what's radiating through all of our cells. It's what's radiating through our body. You know, once we pass away, our bodies remain on this earth, but where is that spark of excitement and that joy in that person? It's all in their spirit, and now their spirit is gone from their body, and so their body is lifeless. But the spirit flows throughout all of our cells all the time. So that's why I have fallen in love with like cell biology, I guess. I just get obsessed with things, and this happened to be one of them. But it's quite amazing. The cell is like a mirror. And one of the coolest things about mitochondria is that they actually hold their own DNA. So mitochondria, they're like their own entity. Even though they're in the cell, it's kind of like having a dog or a cat or a pet in your environment. They kind of like have some autonomy. They can move around. They can do their own little thing. You know, there's autonomy even though they are locked down on a certain level of being in the cell. So the mitochondria's DNA, which it's called mitochondrial DNA. We can actually make more mitochondria by engaging in all those activities I'm always talking about. Plus, like eating a diet full of the amino and fatty acids, we can engage with the mitochondria to make more of themselves. And when they make more of themselves, because they're holding a DNA, they actually mirror to the nucleus. The nucleus is the genes that they're holding, the genes of the two sets of what we get from our parents. So you're holding half of your mom's genome and half of your dad's genome in the nuclear genome. And we usually have only, in like cell and biology and stuff, we usually have only considered health from the perspective that the nucleus is the only place that we have the DNA in. But we actually have DNA in the mitochondria, and so that's really important to know. And our health field is starting to catch up with this knowledge, and this is more of an epigenetic style of viewing the body, being that your health is not determined by your genetics. It is slightly predisposed to the genetics that run through your family, but our expressions of our disease states are more of a result of the environment and the habits that we hold, which could not be more true, especially when you're talking about what kind of food and chemicals that we're putting into our mouths, into our bodies. So when we can communicate with the mitochondria and produce more of them and get that good flow in the mitochondria, we can actually influence the nuclear DNA to a more positive outcome. So it's so beautiful because you can express whatever you want to express. The cell, like, essentially this is a mirror. So I could go put some mud on my face, and when I go look in the mirror, I'm not gonna look all nice and tidy, you know, because I just put mud on my face. But if I go and I clean my face and maybe I put some coconut oil in there and I look back in the mirror and I'm like, wow, skin looks pretty shiny, you know? It's all about kind of like what you're reflecting to your DNA It's all about that. It's all about what time am I getting up in the morning? Am I getting up with the sunlight coming up? Because we know the sun communicates with our mitochondria, it communicates with all of our cells, it communicates with our brain and the axis in our brain that is controlling our hormones. It controls everything, right? What time you get up in the day, what habits do you hold? Are you drinking water, or are you going to grab the vodka right away? You know, are you going for a walk, or are you consuming a lot of content on the internet that's filling your mind with stress, and then you're relaying a lot of cortisol early in the morning? You know, like, what are we doing to influence the mirror of how our genes are expressing themselves? And it's so beautiful because we're still learning stuff all the time. Like, I think when I look back at this, I go back to the basics, and I just talk about the easiest things. I say the easiest things over and over: sunlight, sleep at night, making sure you're eating your amino and fatty acids, and working out and moving. It's just like those are the basic core foundations of circadian rhythm health and individual cellular health. So I just always go back to those few simple little tidbits. And it's always important to also address, like, what's going on in life other than, you know, why am I stressed? Why am I stressed? I actually started waking up early because this was years ago. Before I knew about circadian rhythm health and like hormones and whatnot, I knew that I was really stressed when I woke up late. I just felt like I could never catch up with my day. I couldn't catch a breath. I just had extreme anxiety that I wouldn't get things done and that I wasn't being as productive as I could be. And I found out that when I started waking up earlier, which was difficult to train myself to go to bed earlier, that I felt not as rushed and that I could take my time. And so that was what my anxiety was telling me at that time. And if I wouldn't have listened to my anxiety, it would have controlled my metabolism. It would have controlled my genetic expression and my health. And it was doing that at that point in time in my life where I didn't have great health. I was exercising all the time and trying to eat the right things. Like, I thought Nutella was a health food. Oh, but, you know, we learn and grow, and it takes a long time to make these tiny little bitty changes over time, like getting up and going outside and exposing your body to sunlight in the morning. Like, it takes these small habits over consistent periods of time to get back in rhythm. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say as far as what your emotions can tell you. It's really important to listen to what they're saying. If you feel stagnant in your life, you know, you need a change. What kind of change can I make? Can I make that change towards my health, you know? Depression and energy is usually like a loss of excitement, a loss for passion in the life. So, like, how can I fall back in love with today? Let me get up, let me try and go to bed early on time so I can feel rested, so I can wake up and go get in the sunlight. I can trick my body into being in a positive state. I essentially did this for a really long time. I still do this if I don't always, you know, a workout always helps you feel better. So you go and you move your body. You know you have to go move your body. And it's just all about, it's not about what you know, it's about what you do. Like, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but why do we stay in the same places, you know? Why can't we make different decisions, different habits? It can be so difficult, but totally worth it. And if you want to express something different in your genes, you're totally capable of doing so. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, I wish you luck.